Welcome to Market Day Report. Welcome to a Thursday. It's somewhat of a big Thursday. It's the final trading day of October. Plus, we get a weekly export sales report out, so we'll break some of that down for you in just a moment. First off, let's go to the markets and see how we've been trading in the overnight session. The December corn contract at 4.11.5, unchanged. The deferred's anywhere from a half penny to a penny higher on the session. Now, soybeans in the overnight session higher as well, and that's after a pretty good run-up yesterday on the heels of a couple of flash sales, one to China, one to unknown destinations. New crop up 6 3/4 at 9.83 1/4, and the deferreds were 6 1/4 to 7 cents higher. What about the wheat market? Did we settle wheat higher? No, we didn't. We were down a nickel on the March contract at 5.88 1/2, and the July at 6.04 3/4. It was off 6 3/4. Let's pop through hard red winter wheat. July down 7 3/4 on the new crop at 6.01 1/4. In Minneapolis, nickel lower on December spring wheat, 6.04. And the cotton market in New York, 34 lower, 69.58 on December. Let's go to Midwest Market Solutions. President is Brian Hoop, Springfield, Missouri. All right, Brian, as we start off this Halloween, are exports kind of at the top of the, well, is that our headline for this morning?
Definitely. You can say it's a treat for the traders this morning, Tony. You have big sales. In fact, it was within expectations, but soybeans sales are marking near high. Corn sales were not far off. They did trail last week, but they're very strong once again. And so let's look at them. The wheat, 15.1 million bushels. That's a 5-week low. That's a disappointment for sure. And wheat has to contend with a couple negative factors right now. One is Russian wheat prices are lower, and when Russia offers wheat on the old open world market, they're offering it at much lower prices than what the U.S. can compete with. So we're not getting much export business. And then we also have rains moving through the winter wheat plains. Now, we had 1 3/10 inches overnight, and that's just the start of rains that's going to fall through the weekend. As Tony was mentioning, Jeff was mentioning, 4 to 5 inches, very possible for a lot of the plains areas, and that's really going to help that winter wheat crop out. But then you get to the good stuff. Soybeans, 83.5 million bushels. Corn, 92.2 million bushels. Both were great numbers, not totally unexpected. They were within the trade estimates, trade ranges, but did rally prices off of their 7:30 time frame into the 7:45 close, and we close up near the session highs. Now, if you look at year-to-date sales, corn were 41% above last year. Soybeans are now 13% above last year, and even wheat, with the slow sales, they're still 19% above last year's pace. So all these markets are enjoying decent export business. That's not really a problem. But the issue is we just have too much supply to work through, and even with strong export business, it's not enough because we just have a lot of supply that we've just harvested here of corn and soybeans, and it's just kind of a burdensome backlog that we have to chew throughout the winter months.
Brian, you mentioned too much supply. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we have beef with maybe too little supply. So hang on. We'll take a break. We'll come back and talk livestock futures. Market Day Report continues in a moment. Well, it's a Thursday, and as I walked through the door this morning, I said, Happy Halloween, and somebody looked at me and said, you don't say Happy Halloween, so I'm not sure what you say, but anyway, it's Halloween and Happy Thursday. How's that? How about we go to Happy Market? Well, it wasn't so much happy yesterday. It was a bit of a sell-off in the cattle market. Live cattle futures on Wednesday, the October 188.40. That was down 90. Big question again remains with, well, cash sales already trading 189, 190 this week. Are we going to converge that October contract? December 186.42 down $1.52, maybe signaling lower cash trade into the next month. Feeder cattle 92 higher on the October. November, buck 10 lower at 245.50. And then the hog trade was again higher on Wednesday. December 84.37 up 155, and the February 32 higher 85.70. Brian Hoops is with Midwest Market Solutions, and really that news or the market settled before we picked up some news involving what, HPAI and hogs?
Yeah, we traded, during the session and didn't really have that news. We didn't really have the cash cattle news until after the close either. So both these markets are looking at that as potential market moving news. First in the cattle, the bids came in around 190 at midday. In the north, it was 296 bids, and feedlots, maybe because the futures market had dropped and they were doing some basis contracts because they were hedged, accepted that money. So we're looking at $2 lower dress, steady type trade in the Southern Plains with more trade today and into Friday. The fact that they traded on Wednesday is usually a pretty good sign that there's strong packer demand and maybe the supplies are very tight. So we'll probably start positioning with that news in mind. Probably on the upside today for the cattle market. The hogs have had a real strong tear here. Last couple days, they gapped higher 2 days ago, strong gains yesterday. We may give some of that back off of that H1N1 news that you talked about there. Kind of depends on how they want to take this, but it's the end of the month. And so we've seen, I think, profit taking in the cattle. We're probably going to see some of that in the hogs today. I sure wouldn't be surprised. As far as export sales go, beef sales routine at 13.9 million tons, pork 44.8, a good number there. If we look at that fundamental, that should be a supportive feature, but I don't know that we will. So we're looking at, end of the month as one of the things that's going to be prevalent in the trade today. And I think we've seen some of that positioning in cattle, likely to see something happen in the hog market today as a result.
All right, Brian, we'll have to bring you back in the morning and see how we shake it all out. Brian Hoops with Midwest Market Solutions.